And dozens of diplomats staged a walkout as Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov addressed the United Nations Human Rights Council. Lavrov was giving a virtual speech at the forum in Geneva when diplomats from the European Union, United States and Britain walked out. The U.S. State Department has accused Russia of widespread human rights abuses in Ukraine. Lavrov cancelled his in-person appearance at the Human Rights Council because EU states had blocked the path of his flight to Geneva.
For the very latest on the ground in Ukraine, we can now cross live and speak to Arise Special Correspondent Karl Bostic, who's on the phone from the western city of Lviv. Karl, I hope where you are is safe. Bring us up to speed with the latest. We did hear about the Russian strike hitting a TV tower in Kiev. What's the situation now, Karl?
That's right. That happened earlier this morning in Kiev, and this radio TV station tower actually is also near the location of the Babi Yar Memorial Shrine. The Babi Yar Memorial Shrine is where it was one of the first incidences of the Holocaust during World War II. But what it shows is that they're broadening their strikes by going after military and communications targets because they're claiming that Ukrainian TV is a source of disinformation, and at the same time you see them striking the administration building, the main one in Kharkiv, which had nothing to do as a military target, and it was an attack that also heavily damaged the building, and a separate missile strike also hit a residential block in Kharkiv. So in other words, you have a broadening assault right now, but that's kind of stalled because now we're in day 6, and this was supposed to have been a war that would have been over in 4 or 5 days, but since then, casualties have mounted, with at least 16 children killed and nearly 150 people in all killed, and now more than 600,000 Ukrainians have fled the country into neighboring countries such as Poland, Romania, and Moldova. So it's an escalating military crisis and an escalating humanitarian crisis.
Karl, well, like you indicated, 6 days on since the first invasion. There have been 2 peace talks so far, and in the midst of all of that, the bombardments have continued. Any hope at all that the next peace talks could actually bring these bombardments, to an end? Is it looking likely that Russia is sincere about these meetings?
Very, very doubtful. Because first of all, not even ministers are being sent. There are lower-level representatives that are being sent. Those talks may be held tomorrow on the border of Belarus and Ukraine. There's that, and also the demands that are being made by Russia. The only thing they can agree to, perhaps, is Ukraine considering future neutrality overall. But the other demands being made by the Kremlin, by Moscow, has to do with Ukraine recognition of Crimea, which Russia had annexed by force back in 2014. Ukraine still says that's part of our territory. We will never give up that claim. And also, Moscow is saying that they want a change of government in Kiev. In other words, they want to remove Volodymyr Zelensky as the president of Ukraine. And that's a non-starter, too. So unfortunately, these talks are doomed to fail. And the real challenge is now how to find a way for Vladimir Putin to de-escalate. So these talks may be a dead end. This could be a protracted conflict that could actually continue on for a few more weeks with more deadly casualties.
Karl, the U.S. is warning that Russia hasn't used full might yet. And on the other hand, Kremlin says its forces are targeting only military installations. But with the hit of that TV tower, would you say Russia still is right to say it's not targeting civilian population and it's only military installations?
Well, I think you need to consider that even though it's been 6 days of war, it has really gone badly for them. In fact, it's stalled. And now their strategy still has to do with encircling Kiev, encircling Kharkiv, and ultimately decapitating the government. So yes, they haven't really brought their full force to bear. Now about 80% of those 190,000 troops which were on the border of Ukraine, about 80% are now inside Ukraine as part of the invasion. So we still haven't seen the full force of their military might yet. So while it may have stalled, it could actually get much, much uglier in a very short amount of time.
Well, Karl Bostic in Ukraine there, do continue to stay safe.